We got a new game. It is Miss Monopoly. It bills itself as the first game where women get paid more than men. This game made my son cry, and I want to share with you the unexpected lesson about economics we learned while playing it. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Market Power, where we look at the power of markets and economics to shape our world. And once you understand that power, you'll be able to understand choices and their consequences, and you'll be able to make meaningful change in your community and your personal life. And that is what Hasbro is trying to do here with Miss Monopoly. They're trying to use lessons from economics to change our world and help us see the world differently. Now, I previously had played Monopoly Socialism with my kids, and the same week that Hasbro just canceled it, they announced this Miss Monopoly, and the gimmick was there's going to be some biases in this game towards women. And I was really excited about this. I wanted to get this and see how my kids reacted to playing this game. I was really excited for this game to come. I got it, I brought it down immediately to my basement and got my kids to sit around and play this game with me. And I'm sitting there looking at the rules, trying to look for those opportunities to teach my kids about economics. And there are clearly a few opportunities that are going to come up. First, right at the beginning of the game, you're going to see that the setup has a very different setup from Monopoly, and it's going to be that opportunity to teach the kids about economics. Then you're going to see when they have the opportunities to buy properties or to buy properties from each other. Also, they have the real Monopoly rules, where if nobody wants to buy the property they land on, it goes up for auction. Auctions are all about economics. Well, how about $100? Is someone willing to pay $100 for it? So there are a lot of opportunities for me to teach them about economics, and probably about the economics of gender pay inequality and those kind of things. That's really what Hasbro is trying to push forward with this game. First, the setup. I knew that when you got into this game and you passed go, there was going to be a difference between what men got and what women got. So when a man goes past go, he collects $200. But when a woman goes past, she gets $240. And this is supposed to highlight the pay gap between men and women. But the pay disparity is not limited to passing go. Just from the very beginning, when you set that game up, men only get $1,500 to start the game, and women get $1,900. And I knew that this was going to be a sensitive point for my kids, especially one of my sons is very sensitive to fairness in games. And so when I was laying out this, I was being very deliberate, trying to make sure they understood that their sister was getting paid more than them. You get 1, 2, 1, 2.
There.
1, 2, 3. Yes, so the boys get $1,500 and the girls get $1,900. The girls get more than the boys.
Because the girl is the main part of the game?
Yes, because it's the girl is the main part of the game.
Those cards go right here.
I couldn't believe that he didn't care that his sister got paid more than him. He totally accepted and said fine, didn't ask for why that was happening. And I could have tried to bring up why this was an important lesson, but they just didn't care. They were perfectly willing to go on with this. And so I knew there was no opportunity to teach them that lesson because it wouldn't sink in. The gameplay is very similar to Monopoly. You roll the dice, you go a couple spaces, and of course there are going to be properties, there's going to be chance cards, and the chance cards are actually pretty funny. They have references to things that women can relate to, like sometimes the only way to solve a bad day is to have some cookie dough, or you're going to a high school reunion and you found a dress with pockets in it. And that one especially made me laugh because my 2-year-old daughter has a dress with pockets and she just loves it. So as we're going around collecting the properties, my son learns for the first time that he actually have to collect some of these, so that way you can build those properties up. And he had a blue one and his sister had another blue one, and so he went to go buy a blue property from his sister. The listed value for the property was like $120, and he immediately offers her $500, asking for $150.
I can give him a $500.
You would give her $500? You need to understand economics better. I just didn't know what he was thinking that. Of course, he just really wants the property. He's just trying to figure it out, and he just gives her a fair price for it. And I had to teach him to bring that price down so that way he didn't waste all of his money trying to get that one property. Now, maybe I deprived my daughter of an opportunity to negotiate, right? Like that's something that I should be teaching her, is negotiating those prices. But this was the very beginning of the game, and I wanted to make sure they understood that you kind of start low and go up. I don't know if that lesson stuck though, so that's not really the lesson that we took away from this game. Maybe the auctions were going to be my chance, going in where we auction off those properties to somebody who doesn't want it. And that same son, because he was so focused on getting that set, landed on a property that he wasn't interested in. And so I said, hey, this is up for auction. Does somebody want it for $10? Okay, let's go up. And suddenly my son realizes that's a property he wants. Not because he wants it to complete a set, but because they want it, he wants it too. And he'd already passed it up, so I didn't give him an opportunity to get into that auction, and I gave it to his sister when she won the auction. And that's the point where my son cried. It's Miss Monopoly, so Miss Monopoly gets it.
I want it.
She paid $100 for it. And that's not because it was Miss Monopoly, but that's just Monopoly in general, right? No one threw the board up into the air, so this is a pretty good success. But that brings us to the unexpected lesson our family learned while playing this game. It was in the properties. Now, the properties aren't things like Park Lane or these things that you normally see in Monopoly. They are inventions. They are inventions from women. And this was an ingenious way to bring in the history of economic activity for women, because even though women haven't always had fair chances at labor laws, they haven't always been able to vote or own property, they have always had access to the patent system in the United States, because in the United States, patents go to the first and true inventor of the product. And if that was a woman, that means she gets the patent. And this is a part of economic history that I find really inspiring, because you can look through history and you can see that women are patenting, and when more men are patenting, more women are patenting. And even though women have limited economic opportunity and the types of jobs that they get to participate in, they just stick with that, and they say, hey, if my opportunity is to work in the house, then I'm going to make inventions that help me do better housework, which is what you'll notice as you go through this board game. You'll see that there are hairbrush inventions, or even the first dishwasher wasn't invented by a woman. But it's not just those kind of things. You'll see that over time they have more economic opportunity, and therefore they start inventing broader things, like batteries for a space station. What I found interesting is, as my kids are going around and going to all these different spaces on the board, every time they buy one of these inventions, they ask me to read the biography of the woman who invented that product.
Can you read it?
Yeah, I can read it. Mary Van Britten Brown's home security system included a camera designed to look through peepholes. Nancy Johnson was the first person to invent a hand-cranked ice cream freezer. Here's the property.
What is it?
What is it? That's a great question. Marion Donovan created the first leak-proof diaper out of nylon parachute cloth. This invention aspect is the best part of the game. You could take regular Monopoly and just impose those rules that women are going to get paid more than men. Or you can take this Monopoly game and say, well, we don't really want to play by those rules. But the unique aspect of Miss Monopoly is that it will always have those inventions around the board, and it will always have those biographies, and you'll be able to learn more about the history of economic activity for women in the United States, and I find that inspiring and make it worth the purchase. I think you should go out and check out this game because it has a really interesting story behind it. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check in the link below. I've got two videos that you should watch next. First, there's this time when we played Monopoly Socialism together, and that was a really funny experience. And also this video that describes how kids understand the law of diminishing returns. Thanks for watching today. Make sure you subscribe, and we will see you next time.